welcome to another edition of Entrepreneurs in Fuego. We're documenting the journey of incredible entrepreneurs, and we have a returning incredible entrepreneur, Zoltan Kemeney, our intellectual property person. You've got more than how many patents now?
260, around.
200. I've never met anybody that has 260 patents, but now I've met you again and again and again. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, very good, thank you.
We are here today because you have a special announcement actually to make, and let me just set the stage, because what you have, and we all heard recently about Volkswagen, who owns Audi, as a matter of fact. And what happened was that Volkswagen actually rigged 475,000 diesel vehicles in the United States so that they didn't meet the emission standards.
Yeah.
So that's what the company did intentionally. So they settled, or they say they settled.
Yeah, in part, yes.
In part?
Yes.
How much was that amount? About $16 billion?
In January, it was published that it will cost them $83 billion, and they accepted it, but they settled recently with 15.
Correct.
With the California, that's part of the settlement, so nevertheless it's still ongoing.
It's still ongoing. It's actually, they published that they settled for $14.7 billion, but
it's
anyway,
about 15.
part of it they're going to buy some of the cars back, some of the, they're going to give some cash to the people and everything else. Yeah. But here's the interesting, here's where the story takes an interesting turn. That you went to Volkswagen.
Yes, I did.
A few years ago?
Yes.
And?
In 2011.
In 2011. You went to Volkswagen in 2011, and you offer them a solution that you had patented.
Yes.
That would have avoided this whole emission.
Correct.
Snafu.
Yeah, which would physically solve the problem, not by a software bypass.
Correct, which would have physically solved the problem.
Yes.
But their arrogance, they did not take your product, they did not take you seriously, and now pick up the story from there. What happened?
I'm not quite sure about the arrogance, because that's a result of the decision they made, that they believe they can get away with this, obviously.
That's arrogance.
Lots of CEOs was in it, secretly. All of them gone. New management are.
They rejected your product.
You can't find any one of them. I started to work from 2008 with them. I went 2009, and later, the last time we really talked seriously was 2011. But even this year in January, some of the Audi engineers of department had told me that, Zoltan, we are still working on your project. So then I don't even know what's going on at this point. But it is true that I have a unique claim, so to speak, other than the general public. The general public may say that, well, you harmed the environment, and therefore I suffered. What was it? Well, I drive your car, and that in the tailpipe blows out harmful emissions.
Right.
Who inhaled that? You? No. Someone else in the general public, right?
Sure.
But I suffer damages. Okay, that's the general public's claim. Are they really not? In general, they do. Their children may be on the street and then therefore related. Okay, so then, as you see, that's why it was a public settlement. So then it goes to a public fund, and some will go back to the consumers. Most of them go to general funds to fund EPA and other projects.
Why did they refuse your product? If they knew
I did
that
not know. At the time, I did not know. And it was very peculiar. I don't say suspicious. I did not suspect anything. It was just strange. But they did not refuse, no, out of the bat. No, they just fooled me, like they fooled the American authorities and others, to run around, and then you may or may not figure it out on your own. I did. And I had a big dilemma. now what shall I do? Because I offer my technology for them to license. Okay, I'm an individual inventor. So if they buy my license, that's good for me, 4 years, right? Because that has a high price, but I'm not greedy, but with relative terms to individual inventors, that may sell for a few $1 million. So that would be great for me, right? So in that expectation, I started to negotiate with them. Of course, now they would pay billions for that, not millions.
Sure.
But
they refused your product.
No, it wasn't even a refusal. Simply, they said that, sir, it's very interesting what you are doing. Go back to the US, and then there is a new Volkswagen Jetta 2-liter diesel passenger car, and prove it on that your technology can reduce emissions as much you claim. And then we buy it. I had people with me because I don't speak so well German, so then I have testimonials that yes, we will buy it. Okay, there was no discussion how much, but at least they said, okay, if you prove it, we buy it. Now go back and then go to your nearest emission station, bring the car, show how much was the emission, improve it, bring it back, show how much you reduced, and then you proved. So I bring the car.
And you did this?
And then on the emission station, they said that, sir, you don't need emission control or test for this one for 5 years. You got your license. It's proven for 5 years. It's one of the cleanest engine ever we had. No, I still want it. Well, I don't know. Then you have to pay for it. Yes, I will pay for it. So then I pay for it, and here is the result. It's very unique because this is the only one in the whole US where it shows that the emission limit is 20, which means that opacity is like if you have your glasses, and then you have 20% shade on it, okay? Then 80% light goes through, and that means that smoke will just cloud something. It's like a filter, and that means that 20% is allowable. 0.2% was passed. 0.2% is like on this glass. You see through so clearly, you don't even perceive it. It's extremely clean.
0.2%
yeah, so
was
100 times less they measured
when you put your
allowed.
When you put your product in there, it went from 20%.
No, that was before. That's what I'm explaining. This is the before.
All right.
So the new Volkswagen engine was shown in every emission station 100 times better than the EPA limit.
Once you put your product in there.
After that, it was 1,000 times. So that 100 times. Now, that alone was a little suspicious, because they said that, sir, your government is crazy. Your EPA people are zealots, and then they force everyone, all car makers, to do something which is almost impossible physically. But nevertheless, we do our best. We believe our cars are the best in the whole world, so we can meet that emission test. And then after this, I told them, but 100 times less. And they say, oh, you know, because we work in 5 years project terms. And then we anticipated that your government will not loosen, but will have more stringent emission test requirements. So we advanced that, and we made it even better. So now try to improve on that. Jesus Christ, if I knew this one, how can you improve on that? It's already 100 times less than any limit.
But the results were rigged.
But probably, I did not know.
Nobody knows, but the results were rigged, and so that's why you're getting this.
It was
false result.
So suspicious that I said, if I have to reduce furthermore 100 times, the 10,000 times below the limit. I mean, it's nothing to talk about. How can I do this? Probably I should tail out because they are so good that there's not much to do here. But I said, you know what, let's check it with an independent method, not with opacity, okay? So I took tailpipe gas samples under pressure, put in a high pressure canister. It's like a propane gas tank modified for that purpose. Brought to the UAV or down to the Tucson University chemical lab. And with gas chromatography, I wanted to see what's in it, in that tailpipe. But with 100 times more precise method than what the emission station does.
Sure.
Sure enough, this you don't see anywhere else, neither this one. No one has this. No one had any reason to bring that car to the emission station, and no one had any reason to check this,
what is this
because this is $10,000 just to spend to see what's in it with
so what happened here?
atomic. And this was this is the emission which they have on this. This is which showed 100 times less. It showed that no, something is fishy because they would not pass the emission. They have so much toxic and other components in it.
Wow.
I said, now what shall I do with them? And this is what you see after it reduced, after I made my...
This is after you made your product into this thing.
Yeah.
So what year was this?
And then I said, no, something is wrong here. So I cannot prove the way they requested that, okay, go back and bring to the emission station, because then it's almost impossible. Something is wrong here. So I asked them. He said, no, just do what we said. So I said, you know what, I will prove it differently, not with the emission station. I won't even go back, it's no point. I will prove it for you with gas chromatography.
Hang on one second.
Yes,
because
sir.
we're going to have to hold on to the story. There is a second part to the story, and
Yes,
we have some evidence, and a letter from an attorney that we will do on part 2 of this interview. So this is going to be the part 1, because this is a long story, and we want to make sure that it conveys. We want to make sure it conveys all the full story of what happened. And I will say this, maybe you don't say it, but I say it: the arrogance of the executives of VW not to take this product seriously as you did.
Yes.
We will continue this incredible, groundbreaking, and never before heard story that happened here in the United States. And we will also examine why it is that now you're able to tell this story, because you were not able to tell this story before, correct?
Correct.
We will be out, and on part 2, find out what happens with this emission and when the results come in with my good friend Zoltan Kemeney. Wow, we're out.